Hello, everyone. Welcome to Analytics are for the Nerds. We are starting week 10, and we are 95 days away until the Super Bowl. Let's go.
This guy is in the Hall of Fame consensus Hall of Famer, and I think he sucks. Troy Aikman is absolutely
let's go.
So overrated. He is so overrated.
Those glasses that you're wearing and that fire behind you, I cannot even come close to embarrassing myself as much as you have. Grateful I'll be a lady tonight, yeah.
Thank you. And some people, apparently like Louis, don't like almond joys, and those people are in it.
I'm going to give you the best deal. The greatest of deals. We need the tight end. We're big on the tight end.
You're not saying embarrassing songs. You're just saying songs that make me dry. So, like,
hard to deal with. And I'm just saying, there ain't no rules about a man having 3 legs. I'm just saying.
Nick Foles was also a 3-leg. But, funny in the chat, Ellie just asked if we could get Ryan a Coleman jersey. Funny you say that. I ordered it the day after round 2 of the draft. I ordered it that Saturday. So it's on its way. It's already pre-ordered. So whenever they start picking those things for shipping out, I'm getting one.
Wait. You paid money to the NFL when Louis could have gotten you one from China?
I could have got you one that said KOHLM.
Coles man.
Working all night, need more though. I remember nights I was poor though. Pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and I get it up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and I get it up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. How are we feeling? Look at us.
We had to give it a good farewell. The 2-minute open that you hate. That might be the last time we ever see it. We'll explain that later. But I had to give it one more run. You know,
it was so nice. It was nice and long, and I'm sure we lost a few listeners. But should we tell everyone what's going on? Should we say?
Yeah, we can get right into it, I guess.
All right. We are now going to be under a lovely platform. Anyone?
Do champions? We're gonna be joining the crew. We should be on their platform as early maybe as next week. But glad to really join those guys. They came and they actually came after us, pursued us a little bit. I'm still convinced it's because Allie's hot, but maybe it's my cool glasses. We don't know. But
we all agreed Ryan's the hot one in the group. We are all.
I think it might have been.
I don't like that I'm the only one that never gets consideration. I don't like that it's always one of you two. But all right, whatever. Super exciting. I think that they really I think they did a good job showing us they were interested in us and wanting us to be part of the team. And a bunch of local guys too that will be able to help hopefully grow into a bigger platform and help us grow, and excited for it.
Yeah, Lou usually does the hitting on the other person, and it felt nice to actually get someone to approach you for once, right? That's nice. That's always good.
It is nice to get that.
That is how the world works. So that's not even a dig at you. That is how
it is. It's not. It's a good thing. And then just a fun thing that happened. We're just gonna this little inside football talk. You have to sign stuff, and you talk to people. But there's a contract, and it was like, hey, make sure you don't look like scumbags when you show up. So like Ryan's in a button down. I'm still showing clavicle, and then we got Hollywood Hogan over there. So
the first time, like the first thing we did, we all got like the contract at the same time, and like I texted the group and was like, oh man, does Ellie have to cover up both of her shoulders now? This is gonna be really yeah. And I'm less like Ryan came on today, was like, I really like your sunglasses, and I was like, I just want to set the record straight. There will be no containing this code, this dress code. It's different glasses, different hat every week, bros. Get on board, you champs. With the
Well, listen, my avatar, I did have a hat in my avatar. So
okay, wait, it's like
tell the avatar story. You guys do the avatar story.
So
you got to do it, Ryan. You got to tell the story.
Yeah.
Well, what story? All right, so
the guys did a great job. They presented us like a new we'll have a new graphic and a bunch of new things, and Ryan's in this one. Ryan's been pushing, hey Lou, we've been in this for a while. When am I going to be one of them birds? He never got to be a bird, but now he'll be part of the new graphic. But when they threw it at us and was like, hey, any feedback? We were like, me and Allie were like, oh, they misspelled this name, or maybe they should put in this in the name, like a couple little like artistic details. And Ryan had to like awkwardly be like,
Ryan
is it just me, or does it not look like me? It's like my eyes are blue.
Ryan, tell him what you said. Tell him what you said, Ryan.
Just very gently, suggesting that maybe, you lighten up my features a little bit, get a little blonder hair. But it's very awkward to ask someone to change the look of an avatar that they've made of you. And it's just it's like top 5 like awkward moments, right next to asking for a picture with JJ Zacharyson and Ian Hartitz. That's like up there, and this is like right underneath. So but listen, I'm excited. We're going to be part of a great team, and I'm sure I'll get some lighter hair in my avatar to look a little bit more like me. And yeah, I guess we'll see how it looks next week.
And for the record, you made me ask them to change your features. So I had to take the bullet, and I was like, is there any way to just give Ryan a lighter look and a little bit of a
it's like you're insinuating like, oh, I hate to tell you.
This is just like when I'm at a restaurant and I can't ask for my food to be sent back. I have to, ask Chanel to pass, to pass that message along. So same thing. Exactly. Thank you for the layup here.
And this is why you're the hot one of the group, Ryan. This is this is why. All right. So we're going to keep this week very light. We're just going to really do football talk because, life. But let's get into everything and nothing. There's not much in the news pop culture wise. So let's go into it. It was P. Diddy's 55th birthday on Monday, everyone.
Is that really what you went into?
I'm going for it. I'm going for it. And we'll learn later. Things that make me happy are learning about people in jail. But it was his 55th birthday, and he has 7 kids, and they made him like a birthday cake, and they celebrated with him via like a phone call. But like the cake was a bundt cake with just like frosting. Like if you take like a piping frosting, it was just like just think of like a spider leg. So just all these white lines on a bundt cake, and it looks so gross, which is so fitting for P. Diddy. 1, would you have gone to that party? 2, what's your worst birthday cake? Go. I don't know.
No, I don't think I'd go to a Diddy party. I'm just put that on the record.
I was gonna say
on the record, everyone.
that sounds like the saddest Diddy party that there's been, but
bundt cake. Yeah. And he's probably like, really
last year. Worst cake though, I think, is chocolate cake. Just generally speaking. I mean, come on, what are we doing with chocolate cake? It's not. It's. Have you ever had like a chocolate cake that's like changed your life as Ben likes? Really?
Oh, I was a fat kid, Ryan. I was a fat kid. Of course I did.
I'm going to ruin both of your worlds. I'm currently a fat kid, and I don't like cake at all. I don't like it. It's the worst. Birthday cake is the dumbest thing, and I cannot tell you the last time I went to a birthday party and accepted cake. I will tell you I had my baby teeth still. I mean, I did have my baby teeth until I was 26, but but I mean, I was in my young years. Cake is horrible. Cake is just god awful. Cheesecake is decent, but nobody's fucking blowing out candles on a cheesecake. No, every type of birthday cake is fucking garbage. And
Wow.
I don't know what a bundt cake is, but I'm sure that's garbage too.
It's dry cake. Just think of like a large crouton. I love cake. It's so good. Carrot cake. Okay, whatever. All right, we're fine. Fine.
I'm not.
And then we just lost our sponsorship. So thanks, guys.
Yeah.
The next,
It was nothing but cakes.
Duncan Hines not sponsoring us. So great. This sucks. Again, very excited.
I was gonna do. I like big bun cakes, and I cannot lie. But I was like, don't say that out loud, and then I still did.
So glad to see you. I am wildly impressed. And then again, sports. Oh, I guess I'll do one sport thing. Or do you want me to talk about Hugh Jackman maybe having an affair with his co-star? No? Okay. Dennis Allen got fired. That was a big 2-7 season, 18-25 record in 3 seasons, which not great. Second coach to be fired this year. What do you guys think? Who do you think's next? Not a surprise from the Saints, you know?
I would say not a surprise at all. They've been a dumpster fire ever since that. After they start like 2-0, right? They surprised everyone by beating the Ravens in week 2. But they were, I think, always pretty clearly a paper tiger. I think that there's a lot of dysfunction going on, and it's been said before, but they've very clearly needed a rebuild. And I think finally now they're committing to it, which is good. But it was interesting to see Michael Thomas kind of going off on Twitter, talking about Derek Carr. You have to imagine they're going to hit the reset. As far as the next coach to get fired, I'm still on the train of Doug Peterson getting fired, but at this point, it seems unlikely that they would do it during the season. I might expect that to just be an end of the year thing. But there's no way he's keeping his job after this year.
Yeah. I would hate to see Dable go, but I'm sure that's sooner than later.
I think Dable gets another chance, honestly. I don't know why, but I just feel like they're going to give them one more year without Jones. I think that they move away from Daniel Jones next year, and they both give Joe Shane and Dable one more year, but we'll see. I don't know, like Ryan said, I don't know if he's the next one to go, like if anybody goes in season or if it's all just Black Monday. But Mike McCarthy is done for, right?
Yeah.
Finally, like he's gotta go. I mean, Jerry Jones did not do him any favors this year by what they did in the offseason. They didn't really bring in anything but absolute shit show there right now. And I think he'll be gone. If not the first one in season, he'll be one of the first ones on Black Monday or whatever. Yeah.
And if not, we can always blame that on Aaron Rodgers, because that's everything this season is Aaron Rodgers' fault. So
Aaron Rodgers is the reason why actually everything that's going wrong in my life. I'll blame Aaron Rodgers for everything, because I fucking hate him, and I hate it. I'm just gonna blame Aaron Rodgers like you do. What do you call him? A noodle?
A noodle arm? Yeah, he's a noodle.
Yeah,
Are we going to talk about your bad day when it gets closer to the draft?
We can.
Let's talk football. Let's talk football. The listeners want. All right, so let's do dynasty buys and sells. I'm going to go back and forth with you guys, but we're going to start with Ryan when we do these. Ryan, can you give me your dynasty buys on a win now team?
Sure. So for my quarterback buy on a win now team, I'm going to go with Baker Mayfield. Just a question for you both right now. Louis, you might know this, but where do you think Baker Mayfield ranks among all quarterbacks right now on standard quarterback scoring?
It's second. It's second or third, isn't it?
He's second. He's QB2. And I mean, that I think comes as a surprise, even to people who are really tapped in, because he really isn't a quarterback that has that rushing upside. He's not a traditional, Konami code style, cheat code quarterback. So he's really producing, and I know he's lost some weapons, but I think that's only more reason to lean on the passing game. And I just think he's kind of locked in for the rest of the year. So Baker's the buy on a win now team, and I don't think he's going to cost you that much, right? He's still pretty cost effective, I think. My running back buy on a win now team is Chase Brown. I think an argument could be made that Chase Brown is easily a top 5 running back for the rest of the season. I know Khalil Herbert coming in is probably going to take a little bit away from him, but this is Chase Brown's backfield now, I think, for the rest of the season with Zach Moss on IR. And if you're on a win now team, I think you could get him for, a decent price, a player and a pick to get him and hopefully win a title. Wide receiver, my pick is Zay Flowers. I still think that Zay is underrated. He's had, I think, 4 100-plus games, yard-plus games in the last 5 weeks. He's really turned it on with Lamar this year, and he's clearly their number one option. I'm not worried about Deontay Johnson, and I expect big things from the Ravens for the rest of the season. And then for tight end on the win now team, I think you should go and buy TJ Hawkinson. He looked, I think, really good in his first game, and I know that they did limit his snap count. I think he only played like 40-something% of the snaps, but he ran a route on a good number of the snaps, and he was getting targets. So I think they're going to ramp him up towards the end of the year. I think he's going to be a valuable piece for a win now team.
I don't want to do too many counterpoints to like your points, so we don't make this a 40-minute segment, but I do want to just piggyback off the Hawkinson thing. My only rebuttal to that would be, why would a rebuilding team, one that you would be buying him from, what would their incentive be to sell him right now after holding him this whole year with him being hurt? Don't you think they might want either some good games from him before they sell, or see if they could really ride his success in the next year if they're already in the bottom of the standings? I just think he's a tough buy, only because I don't think a lot of people would be in the position of selling him after waiting out the injury this long.
That's a great question. I've not tested the market on this, but I generally think that if you have a rebuilding team and you flash a draft pick in front of them, right around now, that's what they're looking for. They're like, listen, I'm not going to win. I need picks. Give me multiple picks. And they'll ship players off that they might actually, or could use. And so I think he might be available, but you're right. It's going to be a case-by-case situation.
I'll go through mine real quick. I got Gardner Minshew as my quarterback, and I know that that's tough, but he's got the best playoff schedule in the league as far as Raiders against the passing defenses. He needs to only hold off Desmond Ridder. Is that even, they might just want to get a look at him if they're, the bottom of the barrel towards the end of the season, and they might just want to get a few looks at Ridder. I know that could easily happen, but for what Minshew would cost you right now, and also he seems like he's on that journeyman career, so he could start getting you starts still for the next few years. For probably, you could get him for a 3rd rounder in a super flex. I think he's a good buy. It's funny that you picked Chase Brown, because I got Khalil Herbert here. I think he's I think on a win now team you could get him for almost nothing, and I think he's the best running back. Zach Moss was healthy. I think he's the best running back that the Bengals have had this year. And so I think that could turn into something here soon. Khalil Shakir at wide receiver is just kind of playing off the hype of Amari Cooper and a couple good Keon Coleman games. I think Shakir is by far Josh's favorite target. He doesn't drop a pass. He's, good for 10 points every game. And I just think he's a steady guy. And I think his overall dynasty value is still pretty cheap. And then At tight end, Mike Gesicki. I know we've had this conversation all year, but without T. Higgins, Gesicki has had monster games, and he's legit a top 10 tight end right now. And he should be looked like that till the end of the year. And if this Higgins injury lingers, I mean, he's a must start. So I like him in some of these tight end premiums.
All right. On a dynasty sell, on a win now, what are you doing?
Okay, for my sells, I have Drake May as my quarterback to sell on a win now team. And it's not because I don't think Drake May could have a decent future. He's just the perfect piece that you can sell, right? If you're selling hope, you can sell Drake May. You can sell a rebuilding owner on Drake May, and you could swap for, could you do Drake May plus for Jordan Love? Could you do Drake May plus for CJ Stroud? I know that they're not having great seasons, but I still am betting on a turnaround for both of those guys, either short term or long term. So I'd be happy to make either of those moves. My sell on a win now team for running back is Jonathan Brooks. If you've waited this long, it's really tempting to just kind of ride it out now. But I really don't see the way that this Carolina Panthers season's shaped up, them riding Brooks. Like, they're going to get a little taste and try out, him for the rest of the season, but they're not going to run him into the ground. They're investing in the future. So sell him for a piece that can really help you now. JSN is my sell for a win now team for wide receiver. I think if you could get up to Flowers or McLaurin, I would do that for JSN. He had this huge game. I'd capitalize on that because when Metcalf comes back, I don't think he has that same ceiling. And my sell for a win now team is Cole Kmet. He had a 0 burger last week, so it's probably hard to sell on this. But I think you might be able to convince a team, to take him on long term. But I have serious concerns about him because I think they're going to potentially turn the page and kind of have a new look offense next year centered around Moore and Odunze or some other combination. So those are my sells for the win now teams.
Ellie, have you ever had a 0 burger?
I'm off the market.
I love that you took it that way.
Never have a 0 burger. I'm not coming out of here. Scram.
My sells here for quarterback would be I have Penix just because, of course, like he's still a first round guy that I think should get you some value. I just got what did I get? I think I got Stafford plus for Penix in a Superflex league, which you're still getting a decent price for him. He's still a first round quarterback. My running back is any running back that's not starting for me down the stretch. So I don't give a shit if it's an injured guy, if it's guys that are young and Marshawn Lloyds of the world, or guys that just haven't got their spot like Vidal or anything like that. Like anybody that I can't see in my starting lineup down the stretch, sure, they're worth trading. Rashee Rice is my wide receiver. I just don't like what that looks like long term, man. And I think he's still got a lot of value. And I think people, really fell in love with him and are still tying him to being the number one for Mahomes when he gets back next year. You got another off season. The guy might have a suspension coming. Like, I don't know. Everything with that is just, I think where his value at is right now for a player that's out for the rest of the year. If you can get yourself a starting wide receiver or running back, like, jump on it. And then Ben Snott is my tight end, and I love him. I have too many shares of him, but I think right now in leagues where I thought he would at least start producing by now, where I was really short at tight end, especially in some of these 2 tight end leagues, I think I'll be looking to move him in the next couple of weeks on teams I'm good to try to get a more useful person this year.
All right. What are your buys on a rebuilding team, Ryan?
So my first buy at quarterback is Anthony Richardson. I just don't believe that he's totally done. And I think that there's enough panic in some owners of Richardson that you can get a decent deal for him. I actually just recently made an offer for him of Derek Carr and Bryce Young for Richardson, which, actually by keep trade cut is equal value. I mean, I'd easily have the Richardson side of that. I don't know if
That sounds like a mirror offer for sure.
Yeah, it does. The more I listen, they say that's what the value is. But yeah, it does seem a little.
And that's
one-sided.
exactly how you presented it to the guy. Hey, I just did it on keep trade cut, and that's what they said. You did it just like that.
You're actually winning this deal. How would you not
dumb.
want to take this?
Your dumb lawyer voice.
All right, for running back, my running back buy for a rebuild team is Braylon Allen. I typically don't like to buy running backs, especially if you're a rebuilding team. It's just not a commodity that has a long shelf life. So I typically prioritize the other positions when I'm rebuilding, and then I fill in when I'm actually good. But Braylon Allen is the exception. He's 20 years old. He was the youngest player in the draft. And so he's going to have a future in New York, I think. I mean, if this, regardless of what coaching staff ends up there, I think the guy can play. And so I think you can get a good value on him right now. My buy for a rebuild team for wide receiver is Luke McCaffrey. I expect him to break out here in the next couple of weeks or maybe next season. But I think bright things are ahead for him as maybe the second option in Washington. And my buy, this is a bit controversial, I'd say, but my buy for a rebuilding team is Sam Laporta. Again, this is just potentially capitalizing on some fear of Laporta owners. And honestly, he's so underperformed this year that I would not be surprised if there's someone in your league out there that's just like, yeah, I'm done with it. Give me Cade Otton, straight up, or give me, Cade plus something else. I would do that right now because, again, I'm betting long term. As much as I love Cade Otton, and don't get me wrong, I love him. I think he's a really good player, but I think I'd be trying to buy Sam Laporta wherever I can and hope he regresses to the mean.
Yeah, I get that. I'll blow through mine real quick here. I have Bryce Young as my quarterback. I always look for opportunities, but I think this is maybe as a little bit of a comeback here. Estime for the Broncos is my running back. I think in the offseason we'll be drafting him as their starter. And so if you could just get ahead of that game right now before he has big games, I think that's good to grab him. Keon Coleman's my wide receiver. I think, especially with the injury now and a couple big games, I'm a little bit more of a believer. I think people, with the Amari Cooper thing, Shakir being thing, and the offense being kind of all spread all over the place, I think you could probably still get him for the same first you could have invested in him last year. And then it's funny, he was the selling on my win now, but he's also my buy on a real building team is Ben Sinnott. So he could fit two different categories, but he's there on this category for me. Go ahead, Ryan, on your others, and I have to step out for a second.
Yeah, now you're doing your sell on your rebuilding team, Ryan.
Yes, sell on a rebuilding team as much as it's gonna. This is actually why Louis had to step away, because he didn't want to hear that rebuilding teams should sell Sam Darnold. And this is only because, listen, I mean, he's only 27. So again, let's keep it in perspective. He could still have a couple of good years after this, but he doesn't really have Minnesota's commitment yet. Maybe he's a bridge quarterback while McCarthy is coming back, but I think you can capitalize on almost peak value right now for Sam Darnold, right? You upgrade and maybe you do Sam Darnold plus for a Drake May, or you could get probably Anthony Richardson plus for Sam Darnold right now. I mean, the options are really out there. So
you just said he was a QB too.
No. Baker Mayfield is.
Oh, Baker Mayfield. Oh,
Baker,
yeah,
yes.
never mind. Yeah,
yes. Same draft
Okay.
class. First one pick away, actually, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think he's a sell. You're not going to need him. He's not going to help you right now if you're a rebuilding team. So get an asset that might help you in a year or two from now. Running back, my sell is DeAndre Swift. I'm a little bit worried that the wheels are about to fall off the Chicago Bears, much like the wheels have fallen off in Dallas. I mean, this offense just does not look like they're a modern passing offense. And this is only a matter of time. All that this coaching staff over there they're a bunch of dead men walking. So I'd get out on him now. And I don't think they're going to need necessarily a new coaching staff is going to be committed to DeAndre Swift like this coaching staff was when they brought him in for what I think was too much money. Myself for wide receiver on rebuilding teams is Darnell Mooney. Again, a player who's, I think, outperformed expectations this year, significantly outperformed them. And it's just not someone that you're going to want to have on your team if you're looking to the future. He is 26, so he's still young enough. But in my opinion, you could get a decent, second round pick potentially. I'd do that in a heartbeat for Darnell Mooney. And my last sell for a rebuild team is Cade Otton. Similar with Darnold. Cade Otton might have a seriously, a significant fantasy future in ahead, but he might also not. He might also just be a flash in the pan. So I think if I'm a rebuilding team, I want to go for a more secure profile like a Laporta if I'm looking to upgrade at that position, or if I'm looking to get out, I'd use that, tight end as a sweetener to upgrade another position to an elite blue chip like, Cade Otton and another tier 2 receiver for one of those tier 1 receivers. Those are the kind of upgrades I like to use to, use these pieces.
Yeah. Is there anyone from your team last season who you wish you would have sold a little bit sooner than you did? Traded,
That's a good question. That I wish I would have sold sooner than I did. Okay, so someone whose value right now is kind of dust that I've let sit on my roster. Well, I guess going back to, I probably could have gotten almost anything I wanted for Sam Laporta in a tight end premium league. And that, I was much more willing and actually did make offers in that league to move Kyle Pitts before Sam Laporta, and Pitts has outperformed Laporta this year and is also of a similar age. So it's funny how your perceptions can change so quickly in fantasy. I also made a move in the offseason to acquire Kyler Murray, and I gave up Drake May in a late first. But right now that looks like an overpay because, May looks like he's legitimate, and Murray is, I think, still disappointed despite being, I think, the QB9 overall right now.
Yeah.
Great point. I agree. First time I agree all year.
Louis back.
Yeah.
Louis, who would you sell on a rebuilding team?
Quarterback. I got Stafford. I just got a first plus for Stafford in a super flex league this week on a rebuild team. I think at the best he's got probably 1-2 more years, but if you could get a first for him, that's great. I think Kamara or Henry would be hard as a running back to have those guys on a rebuild team because he'd probably be pretty good if you had those. So I went a little bit deeper, and my guy was Chase Brown. Actually, I think, like I said, it kind of just goes with my Herbert thing. Like if I think Herbert's the best player there, Chase Brown just had a great game. I think you could get a second for him right now. And I just don't think he's very talented. I don't think, even if he gets through this year and keeps Herbert on the bench, I don't think next year he goes in as the automatic starter or anything like that. Amari Cooper, again, goes back to my Coleman point, is that I just think he really doesn't fit in this offense very much. I think he's not going to have a great year this year. And then who knows if he ends up staying in Buffalo where he goes, another year older. If you could get something to play off the Josh Allen hype, trade him. And then Hunter Henry is my sell. He's kind of always my sell, especially after a couple good 2-3 game stretches. And right now he is May's top target because they don't have anybody else there. And I think no one's going to go into the offseason, even if he balls out, he's tight end 6 or something by the end of the year. No one's going to go in the offseason and be like, oh yeah, let me buy Hunter Henry. It just doesn't. He's one of those players that every year it's like Tyler Lockett. People just want to fade him, and he's never a sexy buy. So right now is the chance that you have to sell him.
to a team that's, trying to win the championship, where he does have 3-4 games in a row where he's got 20+ points in these tight end premium leagues, like, go ahead. This is where you should be trying to get, honestly, whatever you can for him. But in these like 2 tight end premium leagues, like, you can get a first for him right now the way he's balling, and that's an easy sell for me. So,
yeah. All right, that wraps up our dynasty segment.
And
all right, let's use the short version of this. Cats and dogs.
Trying to get our 2 boys ready to carry them to golf tournament before practice, right? 12 cats live across the road. Our door's open. Screen's broke. We need to get a new screen door, but the screen's broke, so you can come in through the screen, but you can't get back out of it. I turn and look, there's a little kitty cat in our kitchen. So I said, "What are you doing in here, little kitty cat?" By that time, the cat turns, tries to get back out. That screen won't go that way. Cat starts going, meow, all crazy. And I told our players, we need more dogs. Bo's barking in the back. I have to go shut Bo up. Mel's like, "What's going on?" I said, "There's a cat in the house." "Cat in the house?" I said, "Yeah, there's a cat in the house." So I told our players, I tried to let it out the front door. Meow, meow, the cat's still going crazy in there. And I told our players, you need to be more like a dog. We don't need a bunch of cats in here looking in the mirror. Do I look good? I got my extra bands on. I got my other shoes on. Be a dog. We don't need no meows. We don't need no cats. We need more dogs.
That was beautiful.
Yeah. I did not miss the extra clip today, although I did miss the little happy emoji guy. Like that, we could have just put him in, but I didn't know how to edit it. We did not mention that in our contract with Dear Champions. We put that's our new official mascot of the podcast.
I will go first this week. I do not have a sports cat and dog, but my dog of the week is one of my dogs, Hatrick, who got a new turtleneck, and he's giving me a lot of Josh Groban energy. And then my cat of the week is the bunt cake.
Nice call that.
Diddy's bunt cake. Just gross.
It's nice call that.
All right, Ryan, do you want to give us your cat dog?
Sure. My cat of the week is Christian McCaffrey. So it's
cat
it's
free.
more,
I got it.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's more so. I think they're going to. Let me say this: Kyle Shanahan in the past does typically just like throw his guys back in off injuries, but this is one of those injuries that I think like there's a lingering issue, right? It's Achilles tendonitis. I don't think they're going to want to overwork him because they're planning on a playoff run, right? So I still think Jordan Mason's going to be involved if he's healthy enough to play. I still think Arendo is going to be involved. So don't expect if you're activating Christian McCaffrey, yes, I agree, he could be a really nice piece for the rest of the season, but I don't expect it this week. My dog of the week is Malik Neighbors. This is a squeaky wheel situation. After the game, he complained about how the first half was basically just entirely running the ball, almost, hardly any passing plays. And when you're doing that, you're only playing catch up in the second half. Defense is able to adjust to that. So I think he's going to go just monster game against this Carolina Panthers secondary that's the absolute worst in the league. So Malik Neighbors is right now slated to be a back end wide receiver 1. I think he's got top 3 upside this week. I'm picking him in my top 3 finishers this week at wide receiver.
Yeah, I like that a lot. My cat of the week, I'm going with Tony Pollard, and that's a guy I like a lot. When Spears out, he's obviously been dominating. He's taken over that backfield. It's just the Chargers are the second best team versus the run. They're going pretty good right now. I expect the game script to be in their favor. And that probably won't be good for Pollard. I'm not saying that he's going to be a total bust, but he's not a RB1 this week for me, as he has been in the past. And dog of the week, a guy that I have not spoken well of all year, and I just think this is one, he's had a great year, and two, this is just a really great game for him to have a breakout against a really weak defense. But Brian Thomas Jr., I think, is going to have a monster week here. That defense is, I think, second worst in the NFL against the pass, and so he's stepping in now to the lead role. Had a down game last week. I think again, a little bit of a squeaky wheel situation, like you mentioned with Neighbors. I just think that they really dedicate trying to get him involved in the passing game this week.
All right, excellent. You got real sad at the end. I feel bad for that kid.
I'm just.
Like, why are you so down?
Yeah,
We got real dark.
I didn't mean to do that.
We
got a new segment.
Yes, we have a brand new segment called "Shit on a Cowboy." I'll say it like that every week.
You were jacked up about it. You were very excited about the new segment. It's a fun one.
It's fun. So we all know that the Cowboys are America's least favorite team. They're just so annoying. Now, second place to the Kansas City Chiefs. But so we're gonna shit on a Cowboy. And do you want me to start? Can I start?
Yeah, of course.
All right. I can't stand Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
He is such a mutant little nerd. By the way, great owner. We get it. He built a great infrastructure, but a terrible GM. And as people always say, Jerry Jones, the owner, would fire Jerry Jones, the GM. He's just so bad. Like when he fired Dan Quinn and kept Mike McCarthy. Now the Commanders are 7-2 at the NFC East. Fired offensive coordinator Kellen Moore. Now the Eagles are 6-2. Like he's just so bad. Like the CeeDee Lamb contract, like we're not going to give it to you. And then you gave him the contract anyway, but then he didn't play football for 6 weeks. You noodle. Zeke Elliott, let's give someone $2 million for being a douche. But what?
Yeah.
And he gives me that energy of the guy that goes up to a woman's like, "Where's my hug?" And you're like, "Ugh." Like he just ugh.
All right. Noted. It's off the radar. Ryan, you got a Cowboy to shit on?
Yeah, no, that's great. I was going to also do Jerry Jones, but
do it.
No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to mention how we just torched 4th round picks in consecutive drafts, and one of which should have been used to now be their starting quarterback in Trey Lance, but they're not starting him. They're starting Cooper Rush instead. I mean, my God, just incompetence on incompetence. But instead, I'll go to a secondary option. So my shit on a Cowboy this week, first edition shit on a Cowboy, is Mazi Smith. Okay, so no offense to Mazi Smith, all right, but he's a defensive tackle for the Cowboys. And I recently was watching a Cowboys game, and it showed him he's the lowest rated by PFF. He's the literal last rated PFF defensive tackle in the entire league. And Mazi Smith, the only other connection, the reason I pick him is they chose Mazi Smith in the same draft that the Bills drafted Dalton Kincaid, and the Bills jumped ahead of the Cowboys to get Kincaid, knowing that the Cowboys wanted him. And so they ended up instead with Mazi Smith, who sucks, apparently, according to PFF. And so I'm shitting on Mazi Smith this week.
I like that. Anytime you get the shit on a Cowboy, it's a good one. I'm going to go with Woody from Toy Story. That fuck no.
A screaming-legged little puppet.
Yeah. Hey, Buzz was always the coolest. No,
Buzz gave CPE energy. Am I right?
Yeah. For
Okay.
sure. I'm gonna go with Dalvin Cook, and the reason why I'm going with Dalvin Cook is I might have been on this podcast last week, pumping him as a sleeper. And I may or may not have had him in some lineups last week and in some DFS and some fun different things, parlays and touchdown parlays and all this stuff. And he was Dalvin Cook. He sucks.
Yeah.
But it's just like you have to suck
so bad when your competition is Rico Dowdle and you can't get on, and Dowdle had a great game, but I like you said earlier, Zeke is a bum, Cook is a bum, and I don't think Dowdle is good, but he's going to get touches, so I guess Rico Dowdle is not the one getting shit on today on Shit.
And the fact that Dak Prescott said, "We fucking suck."
Yeah.
Like, he said that, like, the camera's like this, and he's like, "We suck."
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was definitely clear about what they were saying for sure.
Ooh, whew. That was good. That's the exhale. This is our thing. Shit on
the shit on a cowboy. It's gonna be very, very it's gonna be very beneficial. We're gonna need it.
So in a lot's going on. So we want to help everyone and tell them what our favorite things to do to relax. And we're gonna draft them. But I know Louis had a very tough week and it was like extra tough. And he like sent us a text message this morning and it was like really awful. And if you want to just intro, we got a couple minutes. So
yeah, I'll make it quick. I got it because you guys don't know the story, so I got to make them. But I'll do the cliff notes for the last couple of weeks. I mean, a douchebag customer that shorts me out of 2K, IRS knocking on my door with business issues. That's just it. I mean, don't tell me they're big enough. I think that's it. But that's big enough. There's more, I think.
You have so many other fingers available to point.
I forgot about what all these things were. Yeah. But anyways, so I show up to the shop today at my building, and doors open, and the fence is just like, I mean, we have like a 10-foot fence that fences in the whole property. The fence is just in the middle of 5 Points, and I go in. I'm like, what the hell happened here? I go in, and someone had stolen one of the vehicles, one of my trucks out, ran right through the fucking gate to get it out. Before they left, they took my laptop and work phone and a bunch of material. The truck that they took had like ladders and a metal brake and probably about $5,000 worth of tools and like whatever.
The insurance purposes, $25,000.
Yes. If you're from my insurance company, $25,000. And so, I've had the rough and this was like a moment where it was so bad that I was like, what? This isn't real life. Call the cops. They send over Officer Hot Pants. And let me tell you, everything changed so quick. She was, and I just made the joke. Like, she said something like, she started, you could just tell she was going to be cool right away. And she like asked, she goes, do you know that, or she goes, so what's the license plate number? And she walked into like my office and there's just like, paper everywhere, and I was like, oh, they must have thrown all these papers everywhere. Don't they were so disorganized. I used to have fresh files, and I go, do you really think, look around you, do you think I know the license plate of this thing? So it just she go, and she's joking around with me about disorganized. And then she did, she's calling in her little, like, it's like, and I was like, I really am glad they sent the hot one though. I go, I love a girl in the uniform. And she did this, Ellie, she did the, oh, stop. And like, did it on my shoulder. And right when she did that, I was like, all right, getting a little excited. And I was like, what truck? I was like, I'm so glad that I had that person seal the truck for insurance reasons. And so I was like, this brought the whole world together. And so whatever, I'm mad at her. She leaves. She leaves, starts at a report. I do a Facebook post of, this is what the truck looks like. This is what happened. A buddy of mine who I don't even want to say buddy, it's a Facebook friend that worked for me like 2 or 3 times. And he went to the scrapyard and he calls me from the scrapyard. He's like, hey, did you say that you like lost on that truck? You had some like ladders and a brake? And I go, yeah. He's like, I'm at the scrapyard and like there's some just sitting to the side right now. And he took a picture, he sent it to me. I was like, yo, those are mine. And so then he started asking the guys at Scrap Guard, and they was like, oh yeah, some dude came this morning, tried to scrap the truck too,
but we wouldn't take it because he didn't have the title. But of course they took this stuff. I don't know. Like this is a whole nother fight for me tomorrow, but they took the other stuff because they were, I'm sure, going to sell it or whatever, even though they probably got it for nothing solely. And that's not, I won't mention their name to any libels to them. So now, so now I call the detective. I tell them that, and they say, hey, we have footage and we know we have a name because they had to give a card to do this, but they're like, we can't give it to you. We need to give it to the cops. So I call the cops. Cops go over there, or cops call them to confirm what I was telling them. And while they're talking on the phone, the people at the scrapyard goes to the detective, goes, you won't believe this, but he's back right now trying to sell us more shit. So the detective gets in the car, goes over there. He flees. He leaves like his, Allie, I know you're gonna love it. He leaves like his crackhead girlfriend / maybe hooker, just behind. He flees this girl, and she's there. They let her go. When I get there, I have no idea what's going on. The detective's like, can you just let her get her stuff out of the truck? And I go, why are we letting her get anything out of my vehicle? And it was just like this, I don't know what she was, but crackhead / whatever, accomplice. And she went in and she grabbed a bag full of needles, like they were doing heroin in the thing. And she grabbed that and she grabbed some bandages. She had her hand was bleeding everywhere. I was like, what is going on in my life? So they just let her, they're like, okay, ma'am, bye. So she just walks away. And I asked the detective, I was like, wait, what was that about? He knows who, so he was like, do you know this guy? He showed me the picture. And I was like, no, I don't know him. He's like, well, he hangs around so-and-so street by us all the time. I know who he is. He fled from here, but we'll get him arrested. I'm gonna go get him tonight, but do all stuff. So I got my truck back. He didn't get rid of the laptop. The laptop was still in the truck. Phone still in the truck. Didn't take the phone. All the power tools and stuff were gone. So that's probably like $5,000 worth of tools. If your insurance, $10,000. And now I still the idiots. Forget the thief, the crackhead thief that was doing this for a few $100s. I'm not even mad at him because he got me hooked up with that officer. So whatever, we're good. But the idiots at the scrapyard took one of the picks that he brought. The picks are like a scaffolding pick. They're worth $1,000 a piece. They took one of them and scrapped it for for the $20 in scrap metal that it was. And they're like, we didn't know, they just brought it to scrap it. And I was like, why would you take an expensive piece of equipment that looks like it was just stolen and put it through a scrap machine for 20? So now I have to go and fight with the manager about not only them buying stolen equipment, and I feel bad because they probably gave them some money, but they're going to have to give me my equipment back. And not just that, but now give me the $1,000 to the piece you threw through the shredder.
Wow.
It's so, I mean, it could have been so much worse. And now, like I said, I found my future wife. You never know how things are going to work out, but it was a hellacious
Wow.
on top of everything else going on.
Just think, if you only would have had an iPhone, you could have done the Find My iPhone app, and it would have.
I have an Android, and they have the same thing, and they shut it off. So shut up. And legitimately, that's what the girl, my future wife, made fun of me for that. And she's on the phone with the detective saying, yeah, he's got an Android though, or whatever. And later on in the day, when I go to meet the detective, when they was found in my truck hours later, she goes, is this your other phone? And I go, yeah. She goes, that's why you have an Android right now. I go, oh no, just 2 Androids. And she was like, God, she was like, oh yeah, she was making fun of you earlier. We've been talking about you all day.
I love it. 1 second. I just got to FaceTime Ryan real quick. That is such an amazing story. I'm glad it turned out in that way, and congratulations on to also the woman who got her bag of needles. I'm sure.
Yeah, and if anyone missed the beginning, this was actually Louis' first pick. That's his best way to relax.
That was the most relaxing day I've ever had. Speaking of picks, I will do this here. Ryan, number 1. Allie 2, and I am 3 and 4. So
all right, this
Ryan.
relax giraffe. Ryan, you are up first.
All right. There's a lot of different ways you can go here. I did not prepare for this draft in any way, shape, or form, but I'm just going to shoot from the hip here. I could try to be holistic. I could try to be, like really unique with this pick here, but I think the best way to relax is you just have a glass of wine. You got to have some wine. That's the first pick. Let's be real. So easiest way to relax, just grab a little red and be fine. Everything's going to be okay. So there you go.
Love that. That was on my quick scribble. I am a little bit dead inside, and I love watching crime TV. So this one is yes. Let's go with Dateline. I'm a Dateline junkie, and I love I love Dateline. I like to relax. I like seeing other people's pain. I love it.
I like that a lot. I'm going to go to the one that I think I use the most, and I'm not saying it's the most effective, but it is the one I use the most, and that's dumb comedy. It used to be Friends. I would just always have Friends on when I'm really stressed in the background, and the sweet voices of Joey and Ross would always calm me down a little bit. But any kind of dumb, like where I can get high and get lost in stupid high school humor, National Lampoon movies, whatever, and just forget about real world for stuff. I need to do that every once in a while. So that I feel like could have been drafted here. Number 2, I gotta be the one on the podcast to do it, right?
Do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we all know. Sometimes you just got to rub one out to relax, right?
Well,
like we
that's
gotta,
what I was thinking.
Oh, that's how you're thinking. No, I mean, once in a while, no. You're like, do it. You're like, do it. What were you thinking? Like,
I thought it was gonna be smoking weed or something.
Oh, like sometimes you gotta like eat. You like thought like eat carrots.
Way
or
off.
something. Like super something. You're like, yes, go ahead, do it. I'm like, you gotta aggressively jerk off. Sorry. I mean, it had to be on this list, and if neither of you, I knew neither you two were prudes. It's proven. It's proven. It's on scientific list. Read a fucking book.
Okay. My number 2 thing to relax is read a fucking book.
Oh, is it? Is it?
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good.
I love getting lost in the book.
Yeah,
I do like reading it. It's like a calm thing for me.
Do you do it? I want to piggyback. Do you do it to relax? Because the only reason why I can't do it when I'm relaxed or when I'm stressed to relax is because my brain stays in the stress. So I can't do it as a stress reliever.
Yeah.
I could do it when I'm already in a relaxed mode.
So this is where this is where I'm dead inside again. I'm also a 90-year-old man, is that I like also relax by nonfiction books, usually about World War II. So I'm like, yeah, tell me about the Great War. And I'm like, this is so relaxing to me. But I don't know.
That's great.
I just love it. All right, Ryan, you got 2.
Okay. I'm going to go with yoga as my first pick. I think yoga is great. I used to do more yoga. I don't know if that surprises anybody on this podcast, but it's just great. Yoga is great. So I should start doing it more. My next pick after that, infrared sauna, also really great. You could do both of those things and have a little chill sesh. Yeah, it's great. Nothing better than that.
Follow-up question, Ryan, are you Kegling right now?
I don't know what that is.
Okay. Perfect. My number
I can't wait till he Googled it and gets in an accident. That's the thing that they see on his phone when they post it.
Kind of like a core workout, but not. My next is similar to Dateline. I also love a good, my relaxing thing is watching, like I love watching court TV, or so if it's like the Ruby Frankie case right now, or Nicholas Rossi is amazing. It's just like these, I love current event law shows. So yeah.
I like that. Man, I just lost one. I'm gonna go with the one that I have written down because that's for sure, which is a bubble bath, and I feel like bubble bath has been an answer to a lot of these drafts for me when it comes to any form of enjoyment. Anything that we do to enjoy it, just bubble baths are there for me. Hit me with a little bit of Jack Johnson or John Mayer in the background and a candle that fucking smells all right. Let's fucking go, dude. So that's definitely it for me. Man, I just had a great one and now I can't think of it. It's gonna drive me nuts and I might alter it later. So what I will do is dude, I just had it. I'm gonna go with just a nice walk. Walk is no, what were you gonna make? No, I think walk is good. It was not exercise, I'll tell you that. But walk is an exercise. I like to get outside. I could kind of wiggle out the nervousness sometimes on a walk. That wasn't. I know I had a good answer. I'll try to think about it by the time we get back to Ryan.
Well, you don't have to because that was your fourth pick. So
yeah.
Again, I'm just all wrong inside. To relax, I like to drink caffeine and I like to have a cup of coffee. So it would be a coffee and a walk is my prime thing. I can't drink anything and walk. It's like I have to stop. It's a weird hand-eye cord. I can't do it. But little I like intentionally spending money on coffee. Okay. All right. Commercials. $2 do. All right. But that's my happy spot.
All right. I'm going to go with just taking a drive. Just sometimes getting out and just going for a drive. Just getting out of the house or, just listening to some music, whatever.
You are a lifetime movie character.
Am I?
I love a glass of wine. I love yoga.
Yoga.
Yeah, very good.
Red sauna, and then I go for a drive. I could do that all in the same night if you're ambitious.
Wow. And then that was the end of our. We're at 4 now, right?
That's it.
All right. Did you figure out your magic?
I didn't. It was good too.
Well,
I'll text you guys. I'll post it later. You
did also get rubbing it out, so you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did get the stellar back. It's just I said what you guys didn't want to say.
Didn't want to say it. I didn't even. And welcome to our new listeners. If you're listening, welcome. That is. Thank you everyone for listening to Analytics Are for the Nerds. Good luck on week 10. Stay calm and relax, everyone. We're getting through this all together. All right. Have a great week and 95 days until the Super Bowl. Have a good night.